Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss the concept of contract of indemnity under the Indian Contract Act 1872. A contract of indemnity is an important topic in contract law because it deals with protection against loss. In this video, we will understand its meaning, the right of indemnity holder, important case law, and the difference between Indian and English law. So, let's get started. Introduction to Contract of Indemnity. First, let us understand what a contract of indemnity actually means. A contract of indemnity is governed by Section 124 and 125 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. The word indemnity simply means protection against loss. In this contract, one person promises to compensate another person for a specific loss. The main object is to provide financial protection and security. There are two parties involved. It is a bipartite contract. The first party is called the indemnifier. The indemnifier is the person who gives the promise to compensate for the loss. And the second one is indemnity holder, who is a person protected against the loss. For example, if A promises to compensate B for any loss arising from a transaction, then A is the indemnifier and B is the indemnity holder. Right of indemnity holder. Now let's move to section 125, which explains the right of the indemnity holder. The first right is the recovery of damages. If the indemnity holder suffer a loss covered by the contract, he can recover those damages from the indemnifier. The second right is the recovery of legal cost. If the indemnity holder spends money defending as a legal action, those reasonable expenses can be also recovered. The third right is the recovery of compromise amount. If a lawful compromise is made in a case, the amount paid can be recovered from the indemnifier. Then, liability of indemnifier must compensate the indemnity holder to losses covered under the contract, must reimburse legal expenses and compromise amount. So, let's give an illustration like A promises to indemnity B against any loss arising from a business transaction. So B suffers a loss of 50,000 and spends 5,000 on legal expenses. A, who is the indemnifier, must compensate to B, who is the indemnity holder, for 55,000 rupees. An important case related to indemnity is Adamson versus Jarvis, decided in 1827. In this case, the court held that a person who acts according to another person's instruction and suffer a loss is entitled to be indemnified. The case established an important principle of protection for people acting under lawful authority. Commencement of liability of indemnifier. An important question is, when does the liability of the indemnifier begin? The general principle is that the liability begins when the liability of the indemnity holder becomes absolute. This means actual payment is not necessary. The principle was established in the famous case of Gajanan Moreshwar versus Moreshwar Madan in 1942. The court held that an indemnity holder can claim indemnity as soon as his liability becomes certain and absolute. For example, if a court ordered B to pay 50,000 rupees and A had agreed to indemnify B, then B can claim indemnity from A even before making the actual payment. The rule provides better protection to the indemnity holder. Difference between Indian and English law. Finally, let us look at the difference between Indian law and English law regarding indemnity. Under Indian law, indemnity is governed by Section 124 and 125 of Indian Contract Act 1872. Indian law mainly covers losses caused by human agency that is, by the conduct of the promisor or another person. Therefore, its scope is comparatively narrow. On the other hand, English law is based on common law principles. It covers losses caused by both human agency and non-human agency, such as certain events beyond human control. As a result, the scope of English law is wider than English law. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe.